Welcome to the 100 Master Coaches series featuring master coaches from around the world. Let's journey together on this 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Maria Magdalena Radulescu, or Coach Madi, is an internationally acclaimed master certified coach with experience in coaching, training, and facilitation for 30 years, and in 14 European markets. Passionate about people and leadership development, she works on developing leaders and teams, writes about leadership, and speaks at various conferences on leadership development, personal values, and organizational health principles. She has been an ICF volunteer for years and past president of ICF Romania. Now on to the show.
Hello, and welcome to the 100 Master Coaches show. This is Coach Mal, and today on the show, all the way from Romania, is Coach Madi Radulescu. Welcome to the show.
Well done. Thank you, Mel. Thank you. You pronounce my name very accurate.
Thank you for your coaching. Well, today is about you, and we're going to talk about your journey as a coach, and of course, all the way to mastery and the impact that you've created even in your space and influence. But before we go there, I would love to just track back a little bit as you tell us a little bit about who Madi is.
Thank you. Who am I? I would say a lifelong student. Since I know myself, I'm learning something.
Nice.
And this is how I came to coaching. I started my initial background, it's in engineering. And in 1990, when the regime has completely changed in Romania, I discovered that there is another world out there.
Yeah.
So after a very short university career as a lecturer, I discovered Open University from UK. And I started to learn about management and leadership, which was something amazing and extremely new and seductive in a former communist country.
Yes.
So I decided that this is much more about me. So I want to go with it. And since then, since 92, I continue learning and learning and learning. So I've been my MBA studies with first the Open University and then Warwick University from UK. But eventually you had to make money. So we introduced this program, an MBA program from Open University in Romania. So I started to teaching. So learning first, translating in Romanian, teaching other managers. Economy was starting to develop, large corporations came in. So it was kind of a natural process, extremely nice years and very intense as well. You can imagine, hardworking.
Yeah.
But this is what I discovered, that it's about me being in contact with people and help them to get more clarity and self-confidence in leading other people as well. That's how I came to coaching eventually, because, doing a lot of training then and facilitation and consulting. But at a certain moment, you discover that it might be much more there to reach not only the mind, but also the heart of people. And coaching brings them all. So it came naturally at a certain point in time. I started in 2010 with coaching.
Beautiful. When you were sharing, it got me thinking about how environment plays a big part in how we grow up and how we're influenced. And you were talking about that before and after of that, Romanian escapade, and how you, with the awareness and the desire to learn, got out, exposed yourself to new things, new learning, and began to not just keep it for yourself, but you brought back so-called that technology, that learning back to your homeland, right? And it's like you were a catalyst to your own people. I'm just playing it back for you.
Touchy. Thank you. I think there are people really around. I'm honored maybe to think about myself like this one that transformed really what's happening here in our society. And
Yes.
education is, I think, the essence of transformation. And
Mm.
without that, we couldn't have progressed
Mm.
up to now. And you said before and after, and I'm very much looking to this very moment, what's
Yeah.
happening, what could be before and after what's happening today. And, coaching and, that I'm an ICF member and I led the ICF chapter in Romania. And ICF vision is that we can transform society through
Mm.
coaching.
Mm.
And I think each and every one of us is contributing to this transformation. And that's what makes me confident that no matter what would happen, we can continue to touch people.
That's beautifully said, So tell us what happened when coaching met you in 2010. What shifted for you?
Well, back then, if you remember, we had a big crisis around the globe, and
Yes.
training and consulting industry stretched. So initially, I was looking, what can I do to bring some flexibility to my business and to myself, and
Yeah.
how can I continue to work with people, if not only one-to-one, but in very small groups. And this is what happened. I heard about coaching. I
Mm.
had a discussion with somebody who started already with Academy of Executive Coaching from London.
Mm.
And he said, okay, would you like to try? There is a certification. Of course, I'm a curious person. Let's go for it. So as a learning experience, every time is, how to say, exciting.
Mm.
I'm going there like I don't know anything, even now. And at that time, it was eye-opening, of course. But I had a lot of struggles because I like the dynamic of the group. I like the interactions, the facilitation, and everything else. And I wondered, I think for about 1 or 2 years at the beginning, is this really about me? Is this really for me?
Yeah.
And eventually I clicked, I think. I don't know how happened. And maybe people start to offering me this kind of feedback, that yes, that was very valuable to me. What a good conversation, things like that.
Yeah.
And continuing learning through other courses and other certifications and meeting other people, other coaches with their experiences, that gave me eventually confidence.
Mm. And that obviously confidence was needed. I am assuming that at 2010 and slightly over that, coaching was still relatively new. What was that initial few couple of years like as you stepped into this space of coaching?
Um, if I'm looking to myself as a person,
Yeah.
that was learning space on how to become more impactful. Because at the beginning, if you recall, maybe we are taught that we need to help our clients to find their own solutions. So everything I had in my mind was solution, solution, solution. Don't tell them the solution. I came
Yes.
from consulting, from facilitation, so I had all my solutions in my head.
Yes.
Then business wise, because your results help you to get confidence.
Yes.
And sometimes your clients don't know exactly what to ask you or what to expect. And what gave me confidence was, first of all, that business started to grow. So I was able to manage my portfolio of services. So that gave me also confidence. And then when I really understood that if I put the head correctly and I focus myself on, while being a coach, I need to be a coach and not something else. While I'm being facilitating, I am facilitator and potentially nothing else. But you can facilitate and be a coach in the same time. But
That's
when you
right.
are a coach, stick to your mission as a coach. It is a transformation process, and eventually, yes, you say, I know who I am, I know what I aim for, I know what I'm doing. So let's go for it and continue. And I think once you start as a coach, you never stop. If you really love coaching, yeah.
Yes, yes, I hear you. I've also started that way, and then I went into workshops and training and even team building, and then went to the strategic side, doing some consulting and mix and talent development and then leadership tracks and all of that, right? And then coming full circle back to I actually love the coaching bit of things, right? And can I just do coaching 100%? So that's the flow, and that's the lead on to what sits inside of us as our passions and the connectedness to what coaching means to us.
Hearing you, what came to my mind is
Yeah.
a turning point was when eventually I understood profoundly that coaching is about the person and not the solution itself. So when I really started to see the person, I think I jumped. It was a completely different story. And I had mentors, very inspirational and very good mentors. And I'm very grateful to a few people who really helped me to see that, and also to strengthen this confidence, because there are moments in our journey as coaches when, at least myself, I said, I can't do it. No, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not yet there. I can't, as long as you keep yourself to the yet, I'm not there yet, self-confidence is there, and you continue because you know what you're doing and what's the why. But if you're just focusing on performing, it's impossible to do that. Performing is not about the person in front of you. So there are many turning points at least in my career, but I'm sure we all are going through it. And learning with an open mind and open heart from the right people, I think is very valuable.
Certainly. And as you progressed as a coach and as a person, and as we reflect and uncover different things about ourselves and how we look at ourselves in the mirror, I'm sure you've experienced that shifts that you personally experienced first before that could be brought to the spaces that we share with our clients, right? So I'm just curious, what are some of the turning points, little milestones in your life that as you grew more inwardly and understanding more about yourself, what were some of the insights that you gained from that journey?
You said milestones and turning points, and I think one important turning point was when I made my first career change, when I started with management education. At that time, I was working in university as a professor. And when I told him that I have in mind to leave and start something new, I expected a different reaction, honestly, because I was a talent, like we say, and they were putting quite a lot of confidence in me.
Yeah.
But the guy told me, Madi, who has wings to fly should fly.
That's nice.
And this is something I carried with me all my life, and
Wow.
that I applied for the people that worked with me during time. So, who has wings to fly? Open your wings and fly. Another turning point was when, for example, I had to start my own company.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a turning point because I've been very comfortable in the role I had as a training and consulting director. It was a big company with the Open University, excellent job, very good results, how to say. And at that moment, I was just graduating my Warwick University MBA, and my daughter was born. And suddenly we had to move with our family in Bulgaria, which is a near country.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself with an 8-month daughter, a laptop, and in a place where I didn't know anybody, not the language, not the market, nothing. And I had to start something completely new on my own and simply knock the doors and ask, do you speak English? This is who I am. This is what I know how to do, and things like that. So starting all over, I realized that it's not about a title, or it's not about achievement. It's nice to have a well-designed profile or a CV.
Yeah.
But actually what really matters, it's your capacity to connect with people and gain trust. And if you're able to connect with people and gain trust and do what you promise, then really sky's the limit. And that was a second turning point. And the third turning point, which is more personal and more human, because up to now, I told you more about results and learning and, advancing. But back in 2007, my husband has a terrible health problem. We've been very young at that time. And I found myself again with a small kid and a provider for the family. So I had to take this responsibility overnight. We are fine now. He's fine. However, at that time, it was like the end of the world. And you cannot sit and wait or complain, or you simply need to put all your pieces on the table. What do we have here? And who do I have to be in this situation? Because it was a new kind of being.
Yeah.
And without resentment or without blame around about anybody, because nobody was to blame what happened, or not necessarily putting a mask on, but keeping your positive outlook and continue to support what needs to be supported and so on. And immediately after that, when the crisis came, and maybe that was the window of opportunity, because coaching came to my life when maybe I was very open to whatever might help people to go through struggles.
Yeah.
And this is, thank you for asking that, because now I think it's the first time I'm looking at it that way.
Wow. So amazing. I hear many things there, Maddie. That rough spot, I call it, that everyone goes through, right? And then that needs to be that taking of responsibility. And that's what you did, being the breadwinner at that point of time, being that support. And then it needs that resilience that you showed through that years. And then, of course, it also needed that openness. You were looking out for something else, as you were saying. It was that point of time that you were more open, perhaps than ever before, to what this could mean to your new journey ahead in coaching. Thank you for sharing that. Didn't mean to bring that all together for you, but I'm really glad that it did.
Everybody has a story, but we are not flagging it out. for many reasons.
That's true.
And but I think we need to be aware what helps us to grow, no matter if it is a pleasant event or
Yeah.
something struggling with.
That's true.
This is what coaching is about, to help people strengthen their strengths.
That strengthening of that resolve, even, right? That desire for something more beautiful out there. That whole internalization of it for yourself. It starts within you, and then you brought it out into your world. Beautiful. So what happened next, Maddie, for you as you walked into this coaching world? What opened up for you?
Well, first, I tried to introduce to my clients back time, traditional, loyal clients, that something new for them. Because what many coaches are struggling with is to start coaching with real clients.
Yeah.
And I think from that perspective, I've been fortunate because I had clients who trusted me and they simply didn't care about the methodology as long as it's working and get what they expect. So I started to grow up my portfolio, and in about 3 years, I said, come on, I have the 100 hours. So why shouldn't I apply for the ACC with ICF? At the beginning, when I started, I had no clue what ICF is. And I started with a British school, which is more EMCC affiliated. But I felt I need some more structure. And this is what I really enjoyed with my ICF journey, because the set of competencies and levels of accreditation, of certification, and the learning path you have once you're embarking yourself in that, it's quite clear, and you can start to think about yourself more strategically. So I took my ACC first, and then it was quite natural because you start to look in different directions to learn some more. So to do some systemic coaching to understand more, and then to make a choice, what is actually my focus. And because I've been in this environment working for corporate world, it was kind of natural to go towards leadership and executive coaching. And of course, at the beginning, you don't trust yourself that you can access the boardroom, but eventually, step by step, people get you the appropriate access, and the complexity of your projects increase, and you keep learning, and you need some more learning. And this is how 2016, I suppose, PCC. And then I renewed my PCC because even I got, 3,000 hours of coaching at that time. MCC for me was something like a dream, I didn't dare to dream there. And I had a workshop in a venue, and I've met there a person, an MCC. I can even name him, is Alain Cardon. Maybe you know Alain. And I knew him for many, many years. And how are you, Madi? How are you, Alain? Chit chat. And I said, I'm considering to start preparing myself for MCC. And he said, you're not already? Come on, go for it. It was like, wow, if Alain is telling me that, I really consider it. And then I started a journey with Ben Koch from Singapore. It was like a shock because his school and his approach to coaching is so transformative. And I came from these Western schools of coaching, which are much more measured and pragmatic. And, it's a slightly different philosophy. And then that was it. I felt one day I I said, okay, I think I'm prepared. And it was so much work with myself, to really feel a different level of connection and understanding and all the nuances. Sometimes such a small difference and such a big leap, And it was hard. Maybe even culturally, we might be different in our conversations approach, but it's not about the place in the world you're coming. It's about how are you with yourself. And
So
I've
true.
learned from Ben what means surrendering. So when you read the competencies and it says you need the coach at MCC level, the coach needs to, oh, what does it mean? But I've got inspired and I've learned. And also a big learning for me was what really not knowing means. There are simple words with such a deep meaning. And now you know what happened? It's very difficult to me to be a trainer.
Why?
Because I all the time invite people to reflect and they come to me to learn something. So I need to wake up and say, okay, I'm now in a training spot. I'm not in a coaching spot. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going all over now. You're inviting me.
No. I love what you're saying and makes a lot of sense. I think in some parts what you're saying is as you take a step deeper into the unknown, something else comes up for you. And that opens up to another dimension of things. It's like, there's this little cake in Asia. It's called the layered cake. There's a lot of layers on this cake. And sometimes people like to peel the cake this way to eat it. I particularly like it because I'm very kinesthetic in my hands and everything. And every layer has a different shade or color on it, right? So it's very interesting. Some people will just eat it this way and eat all the layers together. For me, it's like, no, I've got to start unraveling what this, and maybe it tastes different. Of course, it's gonna taste the same, but I just feel like as it changes, different texture, different shade, there must be something new that I'm unveiling. And I think that kind of resonated for me as you were talking about how you went from this level to another level of awareness of yourself and of the things that you were ready to accept as it opened up to you.
A turning point for me was to understand more than an intellectual topic, what curiosity means. I've learned that I can't be really curious about what's happening to the person in front of me if I am not surrendering in knowing. And this is such a tiny transformation that changes your mind completely. I think my brain is working differently now. I cannot explain. And this is wonderful. This is something I'm trying to inspire to the leaders or to the executives I'm working with to test this curiosity with their people.
Yeah.
Because look, with all AI and technology, and they're simply ending up by pushing for results. And it's not about that. Of course, we have all the machinery now and the technology. But what about people? Where are we going? Because I feel we are responsible more than, helping a leader to be a better leader. It's the businesses in the society, and the society is a global one now. So this is something else I become more and more aware during time, especially in the last, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, that we change one leader at a time. We help him changing one. And one team at a time and one organization at a time. And eventually, this is like the butterfly effect exists. And we change societies, minds and hearts. And this is not about putting nice words in our mouth or on paper. This is really happening. That gives us purpose.
Yeah. And it helps us connect the dots to a lot of things that are bringing their meaning, and some attaches with us and some may not very much so, but there is a purpose for everything that is out there right now. And it's also how we are open to receiving that, right? And asking ourselves those difficult questions like, why do I not want to be open to a certain thought, ideology, concept? And it reveals a lot. It's like the person in the mirror, right? If the mirror is only on a certain angle, we can probably only see this part of the reflection. But there are so many more angles that we are perhaps not yet exposed to. It's like when you're saying about the impact to society, which is so true. And it all starts, if we went back to it, it all starts to how we are accepting those environmental influences into our states. And that states that we carry will create or recreate new stories, because sometimes our old stories are not so working for us anymore. And that stories will come out into the world and to see where it lands. Again, it's not we're trying to push a certain story, which means a certain reality of how we see the world. But we're constantly testing it, constantly playing with it, and allowing it to come back to us differently, maybe. But how open are we on that? That's what I think it's key for us to stay in that state of that exploration, that coming with that not knowing, so that we will somehow hold loose to our versions of the story.
And have in mind, building on what you're just saying, what comes from outside, it's more and more complicated, not even complex, complicated. It's difficult to understand. And you cannot blame people. They are becoming less and less open and defensive because each of us looks for a mechanism of coping with what is difficult. And especially, I'm talking about the place I feel I have impact, because I'm meeting these people, especially for people who lead other people. It's so important to stay connected to who they really are, to understand their values, to become more aware about not ambitions necessarily, but aspirations, about becoming more aware about the power they have in their hands, becoming more aware that they can make choices, because many people in very important positions think that they don't have any choice. Come on. So this is why, for example, lately, I'm starting to push this idea. It's coaching for clarity, for choice, for change, like a credo of myself. Because we really can make an impact, helping people to explore and stay open.
I've seen that. I love that messaging, the triple C, I call it.
Triple C. I
and I exposed to certain other teaching, right, with trust building, with people, rapport building and all that. And I think what I'm getting from it is that first word, right, the clarity, right? People won't give the trust to anyone without clarity. And often people ask, why don't you communicate more? Our issue is the communication. But people won't open up and share their thoughts if there's no trust. It's like a prerequisite is trust, right? But the prerequisite of trust, I often say, is clarity. If people are not getting clear about, example, the direction of the company or the real intentions of why we're pushing for certain results, then they're going to just, well, have to do it because it's KPI.
Oh, not at all inspiring.
That's right. It's like, have to. And then the choice, isn't it? It's like, do I have a choice? Yeah, I want to keep my job. That's why. So it's connected to that bit, which is that clarity. And part of coaching is allowing the person to clarify, a safe space for them to clarify all the different warring thoughts that they may have on something or someone, situation, and be able to test it out in that safe space, right? With themselves and, of course, with us, so that they can explore the dimensions of that boundaries, because there are boundaries in the real world. And it's quite difficult for leaders to step into certain zones because there are now a lot more restrictions, laws even.
That safe place is not necessarily a soft space.
Wow.
I have people I work with, they say, I want you to challenge me today, because maybe they are not challenged in a positive way. They are challenged with pressure.
Yeah.
Or they need a space with no judgment, but it doesn't mean it's a space with no challenge, because we need to stimulate their thinking.
Yeah.
We need to stimulate their ability to connect with other people. We need to stimulate their ability to understand their fears or their stakes or their limitations. Okay, so you're doing it holistically. And it is safe, it is non-judgmental, it is friendly, but I'm not their friend. And I keep reminding. For me, I don't know, it's very important to make sure that people understand they have choices, and they once they have clarity on their choices, they can dare.
Absolutely. That's one of my words, right? Brave. It's like being brave to speak their mind, to challenge, to also listen. It requires bravery to actually listen to others, what they have to say. And that's what's so powerful about coaching, isn't it? It's clean, hopefully. Clean enough, which means objective enough, right? Which means no judgment. It's the hardest thing to do, to keep it clean.
And ethical.
Maddie, I'm curious to know, as you go out there, and of course, these days with 15 years of coaching, what would you say to organizations who are still not open to the work that we do as coaches?
So I've learned not to sell coaching as such.
That's good.
Because you cannot push people to start thinking. But I'm talking to organization about how to support their leaders and managers to take the risk to help people become autonomous and think with their own heads. And if leaders don't think with their own heads, it's more difficult to create autonomy, especially in this crazy world, and so dynamic and so fast. We really cannot cope with it anymore. So what I'm trying to talk to the organization is, let's find the best way to develop each and every team. And developing each and every team, sometimes with skills, sometimes with processes, sometimes with abilities, or developing, influencing their mindset and so on. We need to work with their leader and involve him truly in this team development process.
Yeah.
And that's coaching, because I'm not going there telling him how to lead his team. I'm not leaving that for him.
That's right.
But first of all, he needs to take the ownership of team development, not only bringing somebody from outside. And he can do that becoming more aware about himself in this role, how he understands his role, how he's taking responsibility from his role, what does it mean for him, not to confuse himself as a human being to the role in itself, what kind of relationships he wants to build with his team, and so on and so on and so on. So I think, at least for me, that was a success, let's say, recipe to start influencing decision makers in the organizations, to start blending other maybe means for developing their people with coaching. It's working.
It's about living true to what coaching stands for, which is not ever trying to push itself in any space, but it's being there to co-create something with the person, taking on that, as you say, autonomy, that desire for what they want as well, the voice, the ability to think for themselves and what's best for their team and for the organization. So true. Yeah, I'm imagining what kind of world will we live in if that actually happens. And sometimes in my mind, I'm thinking, Maddie, how can coaching get out there? And I know I'm saying coaching here, right? But of course, the whole impact of coaching, the benefits of coaching, what coaching stands for, not just coaching per se, and allow that to permeate into, you talked about it before, society. What would be your thoughts on that, and how we as coaches can play a part in this whole way of living and being?
Well, I write a lot. I write every month 2 or 3 articles on around leadership mainly, and values, and relationships in the team, and what are the struggles in the team, and how coaching helps, and so on. And I encourage every coach, no matter how young or experienced or non-experienced, to express their understanding world and life, and because we put our fingerprint there. So I choose writing because this is true to myself, and it's something I do constantly and consistently. But there are some others who are speaking or are playing videos or whatever. It's a matter of taste, and it's a matter of choice. But once the world, our clients or potential clients, sees us with our operating systems, with our values, our thoughts, our interpretation of the world, and this is how they are starting to trust more that coaching is not some voodoo thing, and it's not just talking to some stranger and that's it. They got inspired. And sometimes they are coming to you, sometimes you are, as myself, you're going through other channels of getting in contact with people. But no matter how you show up yourself, it's a matter of, like you said, be aware that they need to trust you. And they will trust you if you really trust them as human beings. I cannot trust you if I'm not fully open to see you, if I'm judgmental, if I am trying to put you in a box, I cannot trust you. It's so logical.
Well, thank you, Maddie, for trusting me and being on this show. I agree, right? When I got my, MCC in the year of COVID, actually, I decided that I needed to do something good with it. And that's where the 100 Master Coaches show was birthed in that same year in 2020, where I felt that every master coach's expression of coaching needs to be heard. We share it so differently, we live it so differently, and yet there is that common thread among each one of us, where it be ethical, where it be the integrity, where it be the trust and the space and the presence, whatever it is, there is that. It's just the expressions are different. And what you said just now about how you and I and all of us who's listening must get our unique voice out there of what coaching means to us, so that that bit of society can be reached as they listen in onto that coach from that space of influence.
I'm actually so honored and so humble coming with you in this show. And thank you. I really am honored, and thank you for including me. There are so many wonderful people there. MCC, it's an important milestone.
Yeah.
It's a transformational milestone. But every ACC, every PCC has the MCC in their pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I become aware about the responsibility of truly being a model in the community of coaching, at least in Romania, if not elsewhere.
Yeah.
I start to talk more and more about the ethics of the profession and the community of coaches. So at the beginning, maybe you tend to be more protective with yourself and what you're doing, because we are looking to anchor ourselves in the profession and in the market.
Yeah.
But I think that's a huge thing. And I encourage my colleagues in Romania. We have few MCCs, and together with ICF Romania, we have a continuous blog, Masterful, it's called. So
Nice.
I initiated that a few years ago, and I'm so happy that my colleagues who are volunteering are continuing that, because MCC voices might be very important as a model for the coaching community, and to encourage people to continue learn and to develop and to reach the stage, because we can all do it. And it's not a matter of, ICF is keeping the MCC only at 4% or 5%, or yes, it's okay. It's 4 or 5% today, but people are getting more and more experienced and knowledgeable and wiser. And MCC, it's a milestone that can be reached. So mainly this is, I would say, the big difference.
And you're right. You're so right about the added responsibility that comes in. It's not just the recognition. It's how you and I represent the bigger world of what coaching is. I think there are a lot of eyes on us now, not just in front of everyone, but also in how we live our lives as coaches, in our relationships with many other people. The common last question I often ask as we close this show is, for the new coaches coming in fresh into our industry that we love, what would be some of the things that you would like to share with them as we bring this to a close?
First, don't come in the industry with the idea of easy money. It's not. It's a lot of commitment and responsibility and investment in yourself. So it's not about sitting in front of the computer or just meeting people and talking to them and making money. And there are people who are looking for that. And I'm not sure if they continue with the profession or not, but they are. So don't come with that in mind. Secondly, maybe think it through strategically. You don't know from the very beginning what fits you or what kind of style of coaching you would like to embark on.
Yeah.
Or a niche of coaching. For me, coaching is coaching. Niches are only our need to create an identity. But if you need a niche or if you intend to develop your own niche, think it through long term, because there are many schools, many approaches,
Yeah.
and every time you learn something, you are adding, of course, knowledge, but you don't necessarily have the time to consolidate it. So once you start something, be a master in that something, and then get ready for a new perspective. Nowadays, there are so many neuro coaching. I can't even mention all of them.
Yes.
Everywhere is something interesting. We are eager to learn and we are curious to learn. But give yourself time to consolidate and make choices.
Wonderful.
And I will stop with the advices because as a coach, you remember. We don't
But it's very needed in this interview, right? In this podcast that a lot of coaches follow. As much as we would like to say, just hold up the mirror on yourself and discover what's in front of you or behind you, this new angle. And then there is the wisdom that every master coach brings. And that is been prepared over time in that slow cooker, right? Boiling and coming out with this little bit of aroma. It adds on as the years go by. So once again, Madi, I'm so appreciative of you being on the show and sharing what we shared today, talking about the different angles of how we grow in this flow of coaching. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been the 100 Master Coach show with Madi today and myself, Mel, saying to everyone, continue to focus on your being. And remember, if there are wings, it will take you there, allow you to fly. Till then, take care. God bless. We'll see you soon. Bye.
You have been watching the 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Brought to you by Catalyst Coach. www.catalystcoach.live. We will be right back with our next Master Coach on the 100 Master Coaches series.